For centuries, empires have fought over land, but today, one of the biggest geopolitical crises revolves around a narrow strip of water, the Red Sea. A waterway that most people never think about it, and yet nearly 15% of global trade moves through this route. Oil from the Middle East, goods from China, electronics, cars, food, everything moves through this route. And when attacks began on commercial ships in late 2023, the entire world felt the impact. Shipping costs surged, delivery timelines increased, insurance premiums skyrocketed, and the global trade was suddenly forced to take a much longer route. So, what is exactly happening in the Red Sea? Why are ships being attacked? And why does this matter to countries thousands of kilometers away? Let's break this down in this episode of This Side. The Red Sea connects Europe and Asia through one of the most important trade routes on earth. At its north end lies the Suez Canal, a man-made waterway that allows ships to travel between Europe and Asia without traveling all the way around Africa. At the south end lies the Bab-el-Mandeb Strait. This strait is only 30 kilometers wide at its narrowest point. Every day, massive cargo ships, oil tankers, container vessels passes through this bottleneck. Think of it as a global trade highway. If traffic stops here, the effects are felt everywhere. A ship leaving China for Europe can save thousands of kilometers if it uses the Suez Canal and the Red Sea route. Without it, ship must sail all the way around Africa, adding fuel, costs and risks. Now, that is why this region is so strategically important. To understand the crisis, we need to look at Yemen. For years, Yemen had been trapped in a devastating civil war. One of the major groups involved is the Houthi movement. The Houthis control large parts of northern Yemen, including areas along the Red Sea coast. Now, after the outbreak of the Gaza war in October 2023, the Houthis announced that they would target ships linked to Israel and its allies. What started as selective attacks expanded quickly. Commercial vessels from multiple countries were attacked, missiles were launched, drones were deployed, ships were damaged, some vessels were even seized. Now, suddenly, one of the busiest trade routes became a high-risk zone, and major shipping companies faced a difficult choice: continue using the Red Sea and risk attack, or avoid them altogether. Many chose the second option. When a ship avoids the Red Sea, it cannot use the Suez Canal. Instead, it must sail around the southern tip of Africa, specifically around the Cape of Good Hope. Now, this detour can add thousands of kilometers to a journey. In some cases, voyages become 10 to 15 days longer. Now, imagine hundreds of ships taking that particular route. Fuel costs rise, crew costs rise, insurance costs rise, and eventually those costs are passed down to the consumers. A delayed shipment means a factory gets components later, retailers wait longer for products, supply chain become less efficient. A conflict in one corner of the world suddenly starts affecting businesses everywhere. The Red Sea is not just about trade, it's also about power. The United States, European nations, Gulf countries, and regional players all have major interests in keeping this route open. If global trade cannot pass safely through Red Sea, economic consequences spread rapidly. That is why naval forces from multiple countries have increased their presence in this region. The objective is simple: protect commercial shipping, deter attacks, and maintain freedom of navigation. But the main challenge is that military protection does not automatically eliminate the underlying political conflict. As long as tensions remain high, shipping companies continue to face uncertainty. The Red Sea crisis shows how interconnected the modern world have become. A conflict in Yemen, a war in Gaza, missile attacks on ships, and suddenly factories in Europe, retailers in Asia, and consumers all around the world start feeling the consequences. It also highlights a reality that geopolitics constantly reminds us of. The most important places on earth are often not the biggest countries. Sometimes they are narrow straits, canals, and shipping lanes that the global economy depend on. And Red Sea is definitely one of those places. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you enjoy watching our content, please do subscribe to the channel, because we are going to break down geopolitics and economics in a way that makes sense for all of us. See you in the next one soon. Till then, stay happy, stay diplomatic. This is Dev this side signing off. Peace.